Thank you very much for being interviewed with me today. I'm interviewing you because 1 in 10 of us are going to be addicted to something in our lifetime, says the latest research. So first of all, what I want to identify is, what is an addiction?
It's a continued use of alcohol or drugs or other behaviours despite the negative consequences. So there, what you're doing is you're continuing to drink or take drugs or act in a way that's counterproductive. So there are adverse consequences, or there's a fallout of some sort, but that in itself is not enough to stop. Most people without addiction go, God, I made a mistake, I'll never do that again. And they don't do it. Addicts tend to do it again.
Yeah, sure. So give me an example of the kind of behaviours that might be a warning sign.
I think one classic is saying you're only going to drink 2 to 3 glasses at a function, and you end up drinking many more, and unfortunately making a bit of a show. So, you know, maybe not just dancing on the table, but maybe saying some inappropriate things that start to become embarrassing, and sometimes in work situations, when you're trying to make a good impression, we tend to make a bad impression.
Yeah, sure. What are the first steps that we need to take once we've identified that we might have an addictive behaviour? What are the first steps that we can take to get ourselves into recovery?
I think we tend to have to run through a few sequences before we really have to get big professional help. I would say the first step is to try and modify your own behaviour. Look in the mirror, ask yourself, is this a problem? Be honest with yourself. Slow down your drinking. Ideally, cut your drinking down. I think if drinking is a problem, we're focusing on drink rather than other addictions at the moment, but if alcohol's the problem, take it out of the equation, see how you feel. If that doesn't work, then I would ask a friend to help. Get a friend involved, someone you trust, so you don't feel that friend may have an agenda. So when she says, look, you've got a problem, you believe her. And if you're struggling in social situations, ask your friend to be a support in those situations. So just to give you a nod or a wink across the table if you feel you're drinking too much, or if you said you're not going to drink and you're drinking, maybe get your friend just to help. Sometimes we need that support in the early days.
That brings me on to the question, I suppose, is, you know, if you've got the addiction, you know, it's great to have that support, but if you see somebody else with an addiction, a friend or a loved one, you know, repeating those behaviours that you can see that over and over again, be either drunk or taking drugs or maybe controlling their food, how can we help them? What are the first steps to helping them recover from that addiction?
Honesty. And what I mean is trying to take your friend aside initially, and just with clear facts, ideally specific facts, just say, look, you know, I've noticed on a few occasions now when you do this and you do that, this tends to happen. And hopefully that will be enough initially for some people to go, oh gosh, really, did I do that again? I'm really sorry. Friends are really important with addiction, because often the person with the addiction doesn't really realise how bad it is. It's us who are around the person, the individual, the family member, the friends who go out drinking, that spot it. So I think either individually or maybe get a group of friends together and try and pick a safe place to say, look, we're just going to give you a bit of feedback. We can hope you're here, we're coming from the right place. And maybe even look up some help and support. So get a few numbers together, because if the person then does admit, yes, I have a problem, you can say, well, look, maybe try this. We looked at this person. You know, if you can, I mean, obviously, ultimately, they have to take responsibility themselves, but it does help if you can give them a bit of information.
That brings me on to the question of high-functioning addicts. I know what we're seeing now is, maybe in the olden days, addiction was seen as to be sort of tramps sleeping under the bridge. Nowadays, these high-functioning, very successful addicts, when you're very successful and you have a problem, or you seem to be functioning well in life but still have a problem with alcohol. What do we do then? What's the first step for people who may be ashamed to admit that they have a problem?
I think it is difficult. I think they're a very difficult client group, in fact, initially, because they're successful, they've achieved, they're probably still achieving. However, they're not achieving as well as they were. And that's where you tend to see the physical side of their condition tell more than the kind of financial side. Some people run out of money, or they get into debt, they become reckless. But if you're successful and you're functioning, tends to be the health issues. So again, look at your sleep patterns, look at your diet, look at the appointments, are you missing appointments? Things like that that you wouldn't normally as a high achiever suffer with or notice. Start to kind of keep a checklist of those things, and again, start to be honest with ourselves really about, okay, this is slipping away. Don't wait until the wheels fall off. Please, those days should be gone where we have to have the severe consequences to end up on the street before we go, I've got a problem. Let's get away from that. There's a lot of help available. There's a lot of care available. We can stop addiction in its tracks. It doesn't have to progress.
I love that message. I love that message. I mean, psychology, we get, you know, inundated with people who have a problem, and our message is always, there is help available. You can seek help. You know, here, these are the, and so it's been really great talking to you today, because you've given us some, you know, baby steps. You know, if you, first of all, it's self-awareness. It's about honesty, and it's about, I mean, like we always say, psychology is gathering a tribe of people that you can trust around you to support you, and then getting some professional help if you need it. But there's always a way out. You never have to stay stuck. And
it's not always your fault. You know, research now says that some people, some with addiction, it's a condition that isn't about strength of character.
No.
It's not about choice. Some people drink when they don't even want to drink. That's an illness. And I think we should really start to see it like that and take the stigma away from it.
But it's an illness that you can get better.
Treat. And always do better for treating it if you like.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, John, for your time today.
Thank you, Suzy.